Tell me, how much money do you need to break up with Autumn-chan? In a cafe, a serious negotiation was taking place. The speaker was a woman in her 20s, dressed in luxurious designer clothes. Her voice was sharp and arrogant, as if she wanted to expose the mask of the person opposite her. Sitting across from her was a schoolgirl in uniform, with light makeup. The girl's expression was calm. From her clean face, no emotion could be discerned. She said nothing, only lowered her head, lost in thought. Lily Lam looked at the woman in front of her, utterly convinced that she had time traveled. This woman was named Ha Van. She had heard the staff in the store whispering and softly calling her name. She was an extremely inconspicuous supporting character in the poignant youth novel, Dreaming a Pain-Free Dream. Lily Lam herself was somewhat better than her, being a somewhat notorious antagonist. In this novel, Lily Lam was the daughter of a wealthy family and had a bit of beauty. Born with a silver spoon in her mouth, she had become a proud, selfish, dependent, and arrogant girl due to her family's indulgence over the years, looking down on everyone. In contrast, the female lead was a sensible child who lost her father early. The female lead's mother worked hard to raise her daughter alone, and when she saw her child about to enter university but lacking the funds to support her, she had to lower her head and seek help from an old friend. That old friend was none other than Sophia Lam. More importantly, the female lead's mother was Emma Johnson in the previous novel series The Deep Sea Full of Stars, Still Not as Good as You, while Lily Lam's father was a supporting male character in that book. Many years ago, the woman who had once been his white moonlight had begged for help, and Lily Lam's father, of course, did not refuse. He generously allowed the mother and daughter to live in his villa, providing them with food and shelter. He even treated the female lead as his own daughter. Living under the same roof, encountering each other's gazes daily, they could not avoid the inevitable. Moreover, they had previously had a vague relationship, and now living together, it was hard to avoid unpleasant speculations. Indeed, living together for a long time, the two became increasingly close. Seeing her husband at risk of reuniting with his old flame, Sophia Lam completely went mad. She and the female lead's mother had already been rivals in love, having publicly confronted each other many times in the past, and now with the ambiguity surrounding her husband, old grudges and new hatred surged, pushing her into the abyss of moral decay. On the other hand, after the female lead enrolled in school, thanks to her pure appearance, gentle personality, and excellent grades, she quickly won everyone's affection, even stirring the hearts of Ethan Park and Lucas Chung. But at this time, Lucas Chung was dating Lily Lam. Lily Lam liked Lucas Chung and had pursued him for many years before finally getting her wish to date him. However, as soon as the female lead appeared, Lucas Chung unhesitatingly dumped her. Not only that, after the breakup, he bluntly stated that dating Lily Lam was just a game. He didn't like her at all, and even hated her condescending attitude. The reason he agreed to date her was to find an opportunity to humiliate her, and then publicly break up with her. Now that the female lead had appeared, he had found his true goddess, and no longer wanted to continue this fake relationship. Hearing these words, Lily Lam completely collapsed. Not only did she lose herself, but even her mother became morally corrupt, frantically targeting the female lead's family, even plotting to harm her. But every time her plans failed, the male lead was always the first to protect her, and the supporting male character was always the first to stand up in support. In the end, all of Lily Lam's schemes were exposed, her wicked face laid bare before the public, forcing her to drop out of school, utterly disgraced. When Ethan Park learned of her and Emma Johnson's actions, he could no longer endure it, deciding to divorce and even kicking them out of the house. Sophia Lam could not bear the shock and chose to hang herself. Witnessing her mother's death, Lily Lam completely fell apart, losing herself, and ultimately could only survive by selling her body and wandering the streets. Meanwhile, Mia Tran's mother naturally married David Lam, and Mia Tran changed her fate, becoming a beloved noble lady in the upper class. Seeing everything she had taken away, Lily Lam tried to rise up and cause trouble. For instance, when selling her body, she tried to cling to a sugar daddy, hoping to use his power to return to school. Or she hired an assassin to kidnap Mia Tran, wanting to torture her mercilessly. But in the end, all of it was thwarted by Ethan Park. The supporting male character even used his family's influence to defeat the sugar daddy behind her, causing Lily Lam to lose all hope. Ultimately, Lily Lam could not recover. In despair, she overdosed and died. Upon learning of this outcome, Lily Lam could only exclaim, "What a stroke of bad luck! Who would be crazy enough to write such a morally corrupt novel to take revenge on society? What the hell is this? Not even giving oneself a way out? Another broken family, another tragic death. What kind of brutal hatred is this? But now that she knew the outcome, all she had to do was find a way to avoid it. The only problem was that Mia Tran had not yet appeared, and everything had not yet begun. Was she really going to do nothing until then? Just sit and wait for death while waiting for Mia Tran to arrive? At this moment, Lily Lam suddenly remembered that all her misfortunes began with the supporting male character Lucas Chung, so if she broke up with him, perhaps she could still salvage the situation? Actions speak louder than thoughts, Lily Lam decided. Break up. I must break up as soon as possible. A dog's life is important, but the person she was pursuing, and now, less than a month in, she wanted to break up. It felt awkward no matter how she thought about it. Just then, his family took the initiative to act first. And so, the current scene unfolded. Lily Lam stared at the glass of ice water in front of her, retracting her thoughts. She observed Autumn Chen for a long time before remembering to respond. Before we continue, I want to ask, what is your relationship with Lucas Chung? Hearing her ask such a silly question, the woman almost laughed out loud. She thought for a moment before confidently saying, I am his future stepmother. Immediately after, the woman pulled something from her handbag, hastily pushing a blank check across the table with her red-painted nails. You can fill in any amount you want, but from today onwards, you are not allowed to see him again. Meanwhile, the girl opposite did not show any signs of inferiority or arrogance. That's a bit difficult. After all, we're in the same class. Hearing her still trying to find an excuse to delay, Autumn Chen coldly snorted in her heart. Then you are forbidden from getting close to him, and you are not allowed to talk to him. Autumn Chen understood that the person in front of her was not easy to deal with. Her stubborn personality was well known, and this breakup would likely not be resolved easily. Just as this thought flashed through her mind, the delicate hand of the other person took the check she had handed over. Lily Lam smiled sweetly and said understandingly, All right, no problem. After saying this, she quickly took out her phone, opened several apps in succession, and sent a message to the other party. Let's break up. The content was simple and clear, without any tricks. After sending the message, she swiftly blocked and deleted all contacts. The entire process was smooth and quick, showing no hesitation or signs of being troubled. Autumn Chen observed all of this clearly. So, is this good enough? Lily Lam opened her phone again, still smiling sweetly, like a well-behaved girl. Autumn Chen was stunned for a few seconds before regaining her composure. You surely don't have any other way to contact him, right? Don't think that just deleting a few small accounts can fool me. You can check until you feel satisfied. Lily Lam comfortably handed over her phone, revealing all the content inside. Autumn Chen took the phone, quickly scrolled through it, and indeed found no contact information for Dawn Tran. At this point, Autumn Chen began to trust the girl in front of her to some extent. But I warn you, don't try anything funny. There are people you cannot mess with. Lily Lam chuckled lightly and retrieved the phone from the table. I have class later. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. She thought everything was settled. However, perhaps thinking that everything had been easily resolved, Autumn Chen lit a cigarette, took a long drag, and leisurely spoke. Go ahead, go. Huh. Before coming here, I was warned so many times, thinking you were some formidable character, but in the end, it just took money to settle things. Of course, you're the daughter of Nina Vance. All of you are cut from the same cloth, just a bunch of girls whose eyes light up at the sight of money, no different from a group of loose women. Autumn Chen casually flicked the ashtray, but Lily Lam suddenly stopped in her tracks mid-step. She slowly turned around, her smile gone. What did you just say? Seeing Lily Lam's cold expression, Autumn Chen laughed, as if she had just heard a funny story. Oh, can I say it? Who doesn't know that your mother once seduced young Master Jasper, running out of his room in disheveled clothes? Did you think your mother was some paragon of virtue? Wasn't she just used and then tossed aside? Back then, she cried and begged to marry young Master Jasper, but in the end, wasn't she also chased away by money? Am I wrong? The person referred to as young Master Jasper was the male lead of the previous generation, Travis Zhang. In the past, to marry him, Nina Vance had waited at a hotel, hoping to climb into his bed. But according to rumors, Travis Zhang was nowhere to be found at the hotel that day. Nina Vance was not only deceived but also with a stranger. The story became noisy, but Nina Vance insisted that she had slept with Travis Zhang that day. This incident damaged the relationship between the male and female leads for a long time. In the end, the Zhang family had no choice but to agree to help stop the rumors and even had to pay a large sum to the Nin family to settle the matter. In exchange for that silence, Nina Vance had to give up Travis Zhang and marry her current husband. Although many years had passed, rumors still circulated, claiming that Lily Lam was not the biological child of her current husband. Take back what you just said and apologize. Lily Lam's voice was not loud, but it was filled with authority. However, Autumn Chin did not take her bravado seriously. She continued smoking leisurely, saying, "Huh? Take it back? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you, there's so many people gossiping behind your back, saying you don't even know who your father is. Just a bastard child," Autumn Chin said dismissively, guessing that in such a public place, Lily Lam wouldn't dare to do anything to her. Just as this thought crossed her mind, a cold breeze suddenly hit her face, melting away her thick and heavy makeup. Everything happened too quickly. Autumn Chen hadn't even had time to react before a glass of water was thrown straight at her face. It wasn't until Lily Lam angrily threw the empty cup she had in her hand onto the table that Autumn Chen snapped back to reality. "Are you deaf or just don't understand human language?" I said, "Take back what you just said and apologize." Lily Lam raised her voice, and one didn't need to be reminded to feel her anger. The people around them, seeing this momentum, couldn't help but feel a bit intimidated, instinctively wanting to step back. But who was Autumn Chen? She prided herself on being a young rising star, having encountered countless ups and downs in the entertainment industry. This little display of authority was nothing to her. She took out a handkerchief, pretending to calmly wipe her face. "Ha, I underestimated you. But do you know who I am? Believe it or not." Before she could finish her sentence, Lily Lam grabbed the black coffee that Autumn Chen had just ordered and threw it straight at her. A piercing scream rang out, and Autumn Chen quickly dodged, almost getting splashed by the scalding coffee. "Are you crazy? Do you know how much I'm worth right now? What if my looks get ruined? I've already signed a contract for my next movie. Not to mention, you've ruined this outfit too. Can you afford to compensate for that?" Thinking that her opponent would be frightened, Lily Lam not only remained unfazed but decisively tossed the check she had just received onto the table. "I can not only compensate for your outfit, but I'll also buy the movie you just signed for. From now on, that movie, including your face, belongs to me." Lily Lam calmly tapped her fingers on the blank space of the check. "How much? You fill it in yourself." Looking at the blank check, Autumn Chen found it ridiculous. Did this girl have any idea how much that movie was worth? At least it was worth hundreds of thousands. On what basis did she think the Tan family would be willing to spend that kind of money? And she even dared to say she would buy her face. Before she could respond, Autumn Chen received a sharp slap across her face from Lily Lam. The sound of the slap echoed loudly throughout the small cafe. Autumn Chen was stunned by the slap, completely unable to react. She didn't know how many seconds or minutes passed until the burning sensation on her face brought her back to reality. "You dare hit me?" She held her swollen face, shouting in disbelief, as if she couldn't believe what had just happened. Her face was her merchandise, her capital. If it got damaged, not only would her career be affected, but the consequences would be even more severe. She was still counting on this face to help her step into the elite society. However, facing Autumn Chen's panic, Lily Lam merely spoke calmly, her tones so matter-of-fact as if everything was meant to be this way. "If you want to hit me, then just do it. Do you really need to pick a day for that? Besides, didn't I buy this face already?" Looking at the girl in front of her with an innocent expression, even someone as experienced as Autumn Chen began to feel flustered. She had never encountered someone like this before. To say she would strike was one thing, but to do it right in front of so many people? Wasn't she afraid this would get out? Didn't she care about her own reputation? Even if Lily Lam wasn't afraid of her, didn't she fear the power behind her? Autumn Chen's face was filled with disbelief, but in response to that gaze, Lily Lam only sneered, as if she had seen through everything. "What's wrong? You can't bear to sell the face of a lowly chicken like you? Watch your words. Am I wrong? If you hadn't latched onto a sugar daddy, could you have risen so quickly? Just because you've received a little support, you've forgotten who you are, and you dare to dream of becoming the stepmother of Don Tran? You really overestimate yourself. You're just a temporary toy for someone. If they like you, they keep you. If they get bored, they toss you aside. What right do you have to confront me? Do you think the Tanner family would turn against mine for you? Stop inflating your worth. IQ, they keep you. If they get bored, they toss you aside. What right do you have to confront me? Do you think the Tanner family would turn against mine for you? Stop inflating your worth. When the time comes for you to be discarded, you might not even know who will be the one to do it." The young girl spoke with a tone more mature than her age, her words sharp as needles, piercing straight into Autumn Chen's heart. Indeed, the sugar daddy behind her was from the Tanner family, but in the end, she was just one of many toys. In the entertainment industry, no one can stay at the top forever. No matter how beautiful, there will come a day when that beauty fades. To go the distance, one must find another way out. And stepping into the Tanner family was the best outcome Autumn Chen could think of. Over the years, She had worked hard to tie herself to the Tanner family. However, despite creating romantic scandals with Don Tran or working tirelessly for the Tanner family, the other side remained indifferent, showing no concern. Everything seemed to be a self-indulgent fantasy. Autumn Chen understood better than anyone that the Tanner family did not value her at all. The Tanner family would never confront the Lily and Nin families for her. Yet, this truth was exposed by a little girl right in front of her, leaving her utterly humiliated. Furious and losing all reason, Autumn Chen shouted, completely abandoning her image. "You little bitch. Do you believe I'll tear you apart?" At this point, she had completely lost control. Autumn Chen extended her hand, painted with bright red nails, as if she truly wanted to rush in and tear Lily Lam apart. However, in the face of her fierce rage, Lily Lam merely smiled. She calmly walked toward the bar, her expression mysterious, then casually picked up a bottle of wine. Just as everyone was still in a daze, not understanding what was happening, the girl suddenly swung her arm and smashed the bottle onto the ground. Red wine splattered everywhere, staining the floor. Ignoring the astonished gazes around. Red wine splattered everywhere, staining the floor. Ignoring the astonished gazes around her, she lifted the broken bottle, with its sharp glass shards, pointing it directly at Autumn Chen. "Come on, go ahead and tear me apart. But before that, I'll slash your face first. After that, I'll find someone to block every path of yours. By then, don't even mention the Tanner family. I want to see who dares to stand by your side against mine." The girl smiled brightly, her innocent smile completely contrasting with the vicious words she had just uttered. The sharp glass was pressed close to the woman's face, reflecting Autumn Chen's panicked eyes in every shard. She was insane. The person in front of her was a lunatic. In that moment, Autumn Chen was certain that Lily Lam would strike her, and she absolutely would not hold back. It was also at this moment that Autumn Chen truly understood the warning from Grandfather Tanner. Lily Lam was indeed a formidable opponent, a powerful character. The bottle of wine was getting closer, just a hair's breadth away from her skin. Autumn Chen could even imagine the scene of her face being slashed, and afterward, it would be the biggest headline in all the newspapers. At this point, Autumn Chen couldn't help but feel fear. Her entire career, her entire appearance, could be easily crushed by a single move from this young girl. Better to let years of effort be destroyed than to watch everything fall apart right before her eyes. Finally, Autumn Chen had to lower her head, trying to stabilize the situation. "Look at me rambling like this. Miss Lily, you're magnanimous. Please forgive me, Look at me rambling like this. Miss Lily, you're magnanimous. Please forgive me. I admit my fault. I hope you can let it go." Even though she had humbled herself, Lily Lam showed no interest in Autumn Chen's concession. "Is this what I wanted to hear?" The girl lightly shook the broken bottle covered in wine, reminding her kindly. Thanks to her reminder, Autumn Chen suddenly realized she had misspoken. She immediately changed her expression, her face filled with regret, sincerity evident. This could be said to be the peak of her acting skills. Then, she spoke in a very sincere tone. "I'm sorry, Miss Lily. I was wrong to believe the rumors, to say hurtful things to you, and to harm your mother, affecting your mood and reputation. It's truly despicable. I deeply regret my actions and words. If possible, please treat my previous words as if I never said them." Nice to say you didn't hear anything. But what's done is done. What do you think we should do now? Nice to say you didn't hear anything. But what's done is done. What do you think we should do now? This time, it was Lily Lam who wouldn't let it go easily. Although Autumn Chen felt indignant, looking at the broken bottle in her hand, she had to lower her stance, trying to maintain her image. "Miss Lily is absolutely right. Today I was rude. Another day, I will definitely come to visit and prepare a gift to directly apologize to your mother. My mother doesn't have time to meet someone like you. Not everyone is as free as the Tanner family. A piece of advice for you. If you don't know how to speak, it's best to keep your mouth shut, or you might just invite trouble." Of course. I still hope you can accept my sincere apology. I will accept your sincere apology, but who knows if your sincerity is real or fake. Seeing that Lily Lam still wouldn't let go, Autumn Chen felt a bit annoyed. "I will accept your sincere apology, but who knows if your sincerity is real or fake." But when she saw the displeasure in the other's eyes, Lily Lam slowly stated her request. This really puts one in a difficult position. "But sorry, isn't an apology supposed to show sincerity? If you're truly sincere, you must also show matching sincerity." "Well, what do I have to do to make Miss Lily feel my sincerity?" Autumn Chen gritted her teeth, trying to ask back. Since she had asked sincerely, Lily Lam decided to respond generously. "All right, then you should slap yourself 10 times. Lily Lam said with a mocking tone, showing no compassion whatsoever. What did you say? Autumn Chin couldn't believe it, her eyes wide open as if she had just heard something unbelievable.
Hạ Vân không thể tin nổi, mắt mở lớn như thể vừa nghe thấy điều gì không thể tin được.
Lily Lam looked at her with a bewildered expression. The face of my sister is now my personal asset. So what's wrong with this request? Well, Autumn Chin wanted to say something, but then paused. She knew very well that if she refused, the only outcome awaiting her would be even worse. After thinking for a while, Autumn Chin gritted her teeth and said, "Can't we change the location?" She truly did not want to do this in front of so many people. Seeing Autumn Chin hesitate a bit, Lily Lam did not hide her disappointment on her face. Isn't Miss Autumn trying to show her sincerity? I gave you the opportunity, so why are you refusing now? Or is your sincerity only this much? Your so-called apology turns out to be just a formality, not sincere at all. Hearing those cold words, Autumn Chin understood clearly that if she did not slap herself 10 times right here in this cafe, Lily Lam would not let her go. At this moment, Autumn Chin had no way out. What are you hesitating for? Just do it. The afternoon class is about to start. Miss Autumn, don't make me wait too long. If you are late, it will be very awkward for me. By this point, Autumn Chin had no way out anymore. She clenched her teeth, thinking that compared to being abandoned by the sponsor and losing her career, this bit of humiliation was nothing. She could only raise her hand and slap her own face hard. This scene left everyone around stunned. No one expected this negotiation to end like this. Miss Autumn truly shows sincerity. Your face is already swollen. 9 more to go, and I'll count for you. Keep it up. Lily Lam smiled brightly, speaking with delight, not at all bothered by the commotion, even taking out her phone to record. At this moment, Autumn Chin had no way out. Under Lily Lam's urging, she no longer cared about the surrounding gazes and continued to slap her face hard several more times. In the cafe, the sound of slaps echoed continuously, leaving even the witnesses dumbfounded. They could only stand and watch, as if they were in a scene from a drama. After a while, when the 10 slaps were done, Autumn Chin finally stopped, panting. At this moment, her face was swollen, completely losing the arrogance she had before. Once the 10 slaps were over, Lily Lam nodded in satisfaction. All right, I have received your sincerity. Go ahead. But if I hear any rumors about my mother and me again, next time it won't just be a few slaps. Be careful with your mouth. Miss Lam, rest assured, that won't happen again. It's best if it's like that. After saying that, Lily Lam didn't bother to look back and walked away. In the end, she added one more sentence. Oh, remember to pay for the coffee and wine. Miss Autumn has made a big profit. Surely she won't skip out on the bill, right? As soon as the words left her mouth, Lily Lam's proud figure disappeared through the cafe. After a while, when the 10 slaps were done, Autumn Chin finally stopped, panting. They could only stand and watch, as if they were in a scene from a drama. Once the 10 slaps were over, Lily Lam nodded in satisfaction. It better be. But if I hear any rumors about my mother and me again, next time it won't just be a few slaps, so watch your mouth. At this moment, her face was swollen, completely losing the arrogance she had before.
Quả thật, Hạ Vân là người đã có nhiều năm chinh chiến trong giới giải trí. Dù bị sỉ nhục, khuôn mặt sưng vù và thảm hại, nhưng ả vẫn giữ được sự bình tĩnh đến khó tin.
It was as if nothing had happened. She put on sunglasses, quickly grabbed the check left on the table, and, as if nothing had occurred, calmly paid and left the cafe. Only when Autumn Chin paid and left did the atmosphere in the cafe start to return to normal. Oh my God, what did I just witness? What a big news. Autumn Chin has finally been brought down. That girl has such a bad temper. She deserves it. I've hated her for a long time, but that little girl is really something.
Who is she?
Why is she so fierce? Even Autumn Chin doesn't dare to provoke her. Everyone was discussing, reminiscing about everything that had just happened. I don't know since when. All eyes were focused on the young girl. Amidst the chatter, a cafe staff suddenly remembered something. He slapped his head and exclaimed, "Oh wow." The sound was like a stone dropping into the water, immediately creating ripples that spread out. Oh my God, what did I just witness? This is big news. Autumn Chin has finally been brought down. That girl has such a bad temper. She deserves it. I've hated her for a long time, but that little girl is too impressive.
Who is she really?
Why is she so fierce? Even Autumn Chin doesn't dare to provoke her. People were discussing, recalling everything that had just happened. It was unclear when, but all eyes were suddenly focused on the young girl. Amidst the chatter, Though she was humiliated, with a swollen face and in a pitiful state, she still maintained an unbelievable calmness. It was as if nothing had happened. She put on sunglasses, quickly grabbed the check left on the table, and, as if nothing had occurred, calmly paid and left the cafe. Only when Autumn-chan paid and left did the atmosphere in the cafe start to return to normal. That girl has such a bad temper. She deserves it. I've hated her for a long time, but that little girl is too impressive.
Who is she really?
Why is she so fierce? Even Autumn-chan doesn't dare to provoke her. People were discussing, recalling everything that had just happened. It was unclear when, but all eyes were suddenly focused on the young girl. Amidst the chatter, a cafe employee suddenly remembered something, slapped his forehead, and exclaimed loudly, "Oh wow!" That sound was like a stone dropped into a pond, immediately creating ripples that spread out. Who is it? Who else could it be but Lily Lam? The cafe employee accurately named the girl. At that moment, the entire cafe erupted. Everyone was stunned. Lily Lam? You mean that wicked girl Lily Lam? There must be a mistake. Who is it? No, thinking back, she does look a bit like her. Look at her hair. Look at her hair. She's wearing a uniform? The apocalypse must be near. Dream on. I must be dreaming. Look at her hair. Look at her hair. She's wearing a uniform? The apocalypse must be near. Dream on. I must be dreaming. The students were all shouting exaggeratedly, and Dee simply followed her memory to her seat. As soon as she sat down, a group of younger students rushed over, surrounding her tightly. Big sister, why are you like this? Didn't you say you would be the only special one in this world? Why are you wearing a uniform and styling your hair so simply? This is a personality killer. A waste of a lifetime. Did someone bully you? Big sister, just say the word, and we'll smash that class of that scumbag. Let him regret ever messing with you. Seeing the change in Lily Lam, the younger students around couldn't help but feel heartbroken, as if they were suffering a great betrayal. Lily Lam gritted her teeth, struggling to hold back her mocking words. She sighed inwardly, having prepared for this. A girl like Lily Lam, a rebellious female demon, would naturally only have rebellious and passionate followers around her. After all, they were all wealthy and idle, a bunch of rich kids with nothing to do. So it was no surprise. Therefore, when she saw the colorful teenagers in front of her, Lily Lam was not very surprised. This scene was much more pleasant than when she opened her wardrobe. That's right, but now I've thought it through. Lily Lam smiled, her eyes full of determination. In fact, people should have personality, but how can my light be overshadowed by a uniform? If an outfit can control you, then that is truly a mediocre person. I just want to prove to everyone that even if I, Lily Lam, wear a uniform and have black hair, I am still the brightest person in this world. Did you not say before that uniforms are shackles, the constraints of parents and teachers? Ahem. Lily Lam cleared her throat lightly, as if regaining her composure. She paused for a moment before continuing. Indeed, I said that, but upon reflection, why should we be afraid? Just because we wear a uniform, does that mean our lives and personalities change? In fact, only we can change the world, not the world changing us. Even if it's a shackle, I will wear it in my own way, shining in my own style. Lily Lam spoke with a passionate determination that moved the brothers around her. Truly the big sister. Your words are absolutely right. Exactly. This uniform cannot hide our light. Exactly. This uniform cannot hide our light. We fear nothing. Nothing can make us ordinary. Not even a uniform. Tomorrow, we will wear the uniform. We want to be like the big sister. Not to be changed by it, but to conquer it. Unexpectedly, Lily Lam's actions became a model for everyone. They were all inspired, deeply moved. Only Lily Lam felt embarrassed, almost wanting to find a hole to hide in. The school actually did not have a mandatory uniform policy, as those who could appear here were not poor, so what reason was there to adhere to redundant rules just to please others? However, if it could reduce the number of bizarre outfits with a killer style, it would also be good for the school's overall image. Only by comforting herself this way could Lily Lam suppress her embarrassment, not letting herself be ashamed to death. In the peaceful atmosphere, no one noticed that Lily Lam had been time-traveled by someone else. A voice she absolutely did not want to hear echoed from afar. Lily Lam, come here. That cold voice was like a decree, causing everyone in the room to stop all actions. Like bowing before an emperor, they all turned their gazes toward the source of that voice. Even without looking, Lily Lam knew that the speaker was none other than the famous, overbearing male lead, Don Tran. The young man leaned half his body against the door frame, one hand in his pocket, his lazy expression exuding a hint of sharpness. His tall and slender figure alone was enough to make it hard for people to look away. Don Tran appeared so clean-cut that he did not resemble a school tyrant. Aside from a sapphire-studded earring in his left ear, he wore almost no jewelry. If one did not pay attention to the brutality hidden deep in his eyes, they might mistake him for the male lead. Aside from fighting, he acted very nonchalantly. He did not initiate trouble, nor did he step in to help anyone. Regardless of what happened in school, he would quietly observe, like a lion patrolling its territory. But if one thought that meant he was just a paper tiger, they were mistaken. Behind those lazy eyes lay a madness and brutality that no one dared to touch. It was rumored that when he struck, he showed no mercy, beating people until they were hospitalized without stopping. In fact, there had been several instances where he nearly caused a homicide. Don Tran inherently possessed an inexplicable ruthlessness. Sometimes, just a glance was enough to instill fear. Indeed, the moment he appeared, the atmosphere immediately changed. The classroom, which had been lively, now fell silent. Everyone held their breath, not daring to breathe loudly, quietly shifting their gazes toward Lily Lam. That look seemed to urge her to leave quickly, not to drag everyone down with her. After all, the big brother always acted discreetly, but he had never specifically sought anyone out. Now that he suddenly came looking for Lily Lam, it surely could not be anything good. Naturally, no one here wanted to be implicated, so they all kept their distance. Among them, only Lily Lam's underlings stepped forward, standing in front of her to protect her. Show some respect for the big sister. Exactly. You telling our big sister to come out is just so embarrassing. A few voices rang out, and the atmosphere at the scene shifted once again. Everyone held their breath, fearing they would start fighting right there. But contrary to expectations, Don Tran did not explode in anger immediately. He only lowered his voice, clearly annoyed, his gaze sharper than before. Come outside. Don't make me say it a second time. Although his words were not too harsh, the tone had changed significantly. It seemed that if he acted again, it would definitely not just be words. Lily Lam stood up and gently patted her underling on the shoulder. I'll step outside for a bit. But it's fine. I'll be right back. Lily Lam smiled, but her departing figure carried a sense of a warrior going to battle, one that might not return. What do you want with me? I have a few things to ask you. Don Tran gestured with his hand, indicating to talk aside. Lily Lam did not refuse, as she somewhat guessed the reason he was looking for her. It was probably about Autumn Chin. It seemed she was acting quite quickly. Now this matter had spread throughout the Don family. But thinking about it, it was not hard to understand. After all, with her status, being dominated by a little girl, who could swallow that humiliation? Once they reached a secluded spot, Lily Lam urged, just say what you need to. Don Tran did not beat around the bush, still maintaining his posture with his hands in his pockets, showing impatience as he got straight to the point. What do those messages mean? Huh? What messages? Did Autumn Chin really report the matter and use such an old-fashioned method as texting? Shouldn't she have cried directly in front of him, putting on a dramatic show instead? Seeing that she did not respond immediately, Don Tran had to pull out his phone and show her the screen. The screen coldly displayed 5 large, clear words. Let's break up. At that moment, Lily Lam finally understood his meaning. Oh, it's just the literal meaning. Did she not make it clear enough for him to understand? But that statement seemed to poke at his nerves. Don Tran slammed his fist hard against the wall beside him. Lily Lam, you're something else. Want to pursue me, then break up just like that? Gone was the lazy indifference. Now, anger was clearly visible in Don Tran's eyes. But Lily Lam merely looked at him with confusion. What's wrong with that? Should she not break up and just wait for the female lead to deal with her? Perhaps it was her nonchalant attitude that angered him. Don Tran roughly pushed her against the wall. His tall, strong body nearly pinned her against the wall, leaving no space to evade. The young man pulled his hand out, gripping Lily Lam's wrist tightly, causing her to tremble in pain. Are you playing with me? The young man gritted his teeth, his voice carrying a hint of aggression. Everyone else dares not approach me publicly, yet you stubbornly pursued me for 3 years. It was your bravery and persistence that made me reluctantly agree to date. And now, you just want to play? This should have been a moment that instilled fear, but for some reason, Lily Lam burst into laughter. What are you laughing at? The young man frowned. He had always felt that Lily Lam was a bit off in the head, and now he was even more certain that she had some abnormal nerve. However, the girl continued to smile sweetly. Don Tran, did you know that your tone just now sounded like a jilted lover? Turns out you like me so much that you can't bear to break up. The young man frowned. Given the situation, how could she still be in the mood to joke? A flash of rage flickered in his eyes, but Lily Lam acted as if she did not see it, continuing to chatter away. So, you came to find me this time, specifically to beg me not to leave?
Cầu xin tôi đừng đi à?
Lily Lam, you're getting more and more outrageous. Have I spoiled you too much? Perhaps it was her teasing tone that angered him. Don Tran tightened his grip, causing Lily Lam to wince in pain. However, the smile on the young girl's face remained unchanged. Whether you spoil me or not, I don't know. All I know is that if you don't like me, then why force yourself to stay by my side? Wouldn't it be better to spend that time pursuing your true love?